What is up, family? Welcome back to another one. Today, we are talking about your relationship year. What year you are in your love. Our relationship year is not just how long we've been together, the amount of years that we've had this connection, but it's also a spiritual lesson. There's a spiritual blessing that we're meant to have with each year of our relationships. So, today we are going to be getting into that because what I've observed in Dream and I's relationship and just from looking at other people's relationships is that year one doesn't feel like year five doesn't feel like year eight. Like every year, the relationship changes, evolves, or it's supposed to. And when it doesn't, okay, that's when we got a problem. Okay, that's when we got a problem. When we're missing out on the blessings each year brought into our lives, whether it was through beautiful manifestations or through challenges, right? Some adversity, regardless of how it comes through, is meant to serve the relationship in a very divine and sacred way. So today we're going to be diving into that. Okay. I have a song for us um, that I'm going to play first and foremost. This song was coming up as I was getting ready to come live. And yeah, I was like, that's interesting. It's a gospel song. What is it called? I know what it's called. And it's called Loving Me by Jonathan McReynolds, right? And it's one of those songs that really helps you to see and understand um, what that divine sacred love is. And it helps to put into perspective that this is something that can happen in our lives as well. That this love, this passion, this purpose within your union or within your family, with your children, it doesn't just have to be something that we can only receive from God, right? Because the truth is that God dwells inside of each and every one of us. So it's 100% possible to find sacred love and companionship and relationships in a multitude of ways, right? And so today we're going to be talking about what each year represents spiritually, okay? What is the blessing, the manifestation of that year, and what is the challenge of that year, okay? But before we get into all of that, I definitely want you guys to think about what what year you are in your relationship, right? Like how long have you and your partner been together? How long have you and that friend been friends? Think about that, right? And also want you to reflect on what is this season in your relationship teaching you? What are you taking away from it? Okay? But before we do that, let's listen to this song that Spear kind of dropped into my system. I like to call it musical medicine because every song literally has a vibration and a frequency that we can pick up on, right? That impacts and that influences our minds, our energy. You know what I mean? This is why you can listen to a certain song and it can lift you up, or you can listen to a certain song and it can pull you down. Okay. So let's get into this song. I wish we had some lyrics. Okay, we do got some lyrics. I love that. Yes.
I'm nowhere close to a perfect man, and it takes a supernatural love to even understand That beyond the walls, behind the mask and confident smile, was a broken man trying to grow up and make life worthwhile. And I know there were times that you probably shouldn't, but I thank you for always loving me. And I know anyone else, they probably wouldn't.
Man,
So I
this man's
thank
voice
you
control.
for always loving me. Now I know there were days I looked at myself. I felt like less of a person compared to everyone else. What about this flaw? Too big, too small? Can I exchange? And trying to make up for what I fell short, I let sin slip away. But when I look in the mirror and don't like what I see, oh, I just thank you for always loving me. And I know I get mad, but you wait patiently. Oh, I just thank you for always loving me. Oh, I just thank you for always loving me. I wanna thank you for always loving me. So you just keep loving.
All right, that is Jonathan McReynolds, "Loving Me," and it's such a sweet song because the overall message is like, no matter what shortcomings, challenges, mishaps, ups and downs that happen in the relationship, you just keep loving me. And I think sometimes, well, I know many people in today's society, right, especially, I don't know if people really believe in unconditional love anymore. What do y'all think? Day 4, y'all, of Dr. Bobby Price. Couldn't get it down earlier today, so now I'm trying to get it down now. So, do people believe in unconditional love anymore? Right? In resilience and embracing the resistance that shows up in relationships, right? And still being able to come to a certain level of love and oneness and peace. All right. So each year that we are in a relationship, it carries a certain frequency, a certain energy. Like numerology doesn't just stop when it comes to us and our birthdays and our soul number and our life path and all of those very unique things that we love understanding about ourselves. The frequency of numbers shows up in everything. And so, based on the years that we have been together in our relationships, we will experience certain things. Okay. We'll manifest certain things, both blessings and both challenges, right? Things that you have to overcome. So, in zero, when you're at the 0 point of a relationship, this is the frequency of the Fool card. This is potential. This is spontaneous. This is a blank space. This is infinite potential that dwells in the 0, right? In the, I just walked past you at the store, right? Or the, you just met this person at work type of thing. Okay. The 0 is the space of infinite potential. Okay. We don't know what it's going to be, what it is, what it ain't. All right. And a part of that is super exciting because it can go either way. And you like, okay, we're going to see what happens here. This is cool. Let's just keep playing it by ear. It's um it's the new beginnings, like I said. It's like when you think about the full energy, the full card, it's kind of like oblivious, right? The Fool is just in their own world. They're just having fun. They're adventuring. And that's the zero in relationships. And that's what it should be, right? The one, right? When you are within that first year or you make that 1 year in your relationship, this is the energy of the magician. You're starting to literally feel the magic in that connection because now you've been spending more time together. You're like, wait, this person isn't just here today and gone tomorrow. Like, wait, something powerful is actually happening here. And that's the initiation. That's the start of what gets to be, a beautiful journey. Okay. This is also, um, this is also where you're trying to figure out your identity. Who are we? Like, are we really like going to go there? And how can, like, because the 1 year, you're still feeling very individualistic. You're still feeling very much so like you're one being, I'm one being. One. Do you understand? You know what I mean? And so figuring out our identities in this new relationship is a major part and overall general energy of that 1 year mark in your relationships. Okay. Let me know in the comments where you are. Are you at the 0 point where you are kind of just moving about? You maybe have some connections here, have some connections there, but nothing's really grounded in. Everything just has potential, right? But it's not all the way there. Are you in the 1 year? We know what the 1 year is now. That's you've been in this initiation process with this person. You're spending time together. This is like y'all's first chapter with each other, right? You're defining the roles. You're discovering your identity within each other. You're like, okay, are we actually going to do this? That's the 1 year. And in this 1 year, the manifestation and the gift of the 1 year is that clean start. You know, many of you probably had other relationships before this one that you are in right now, or before this connection that you're nurturing right now. And those other relationships and the experiences that you had within them, they impact the way you show up in love. And so when you get the opportunity to do it again, when you get the opportunity to grow, to change, and to experience something different when someone new, this is you getting to redefine the vision that you have for your love life. And this starts to happen within that first year. And within that first year, it's still kind of individual. It's like, can I see this person in my life long term? Can I actually see that? Can I see that vision? Right? Can this be a thing? The challenge of that first year of being in a relationship is the ego, the I self, the me, mine, the that part of ourselves that is self-centered. That's the challenge within that first year, right? It's getting outside of what you think or what you want or what you are focused on, and really seeing if there's a desire for you to put your ego to the side, to have peace, or to make this person smile, or to really understand what things will be like going forward. I can tell y'all a story that I've had to do some healing work surrounding. It was Dream and I's first year together. Within this first year of us being together, and it's Valentine's Day. Now, me at the time, I wasn't all, oh, Valentine's Day is just a scam, a money grab, whatever. I was not at that place in my consciousness, right? And I still like a Valentine's Day gift today. So, anyways, I guess he's in that mindset. He's pro black, you know. I don't celebrate Valentine's Day. I'll show you my love every day type of mindset. But mind you, we are in our first year of being together. This is our first Valentine's Day together. And Dream doesn't do anything on Valentine's Day. We barely talk on the day. So, of course, in my mind, it can go many places. Many places my mind is going, oh, you must had another Valentine's. Since you were so busy, you must have another Valentine's. Just let me know. No, I ain't had no another Valentine. I just don't really celebrate Valentine's. That's it. Just don't celebrate Valentine's. Mind you, I think at the same time it was Houston NBA weekend. Y'all know those times. All-Star weekend in Houston. So he must have been very busy. Okay. Anyways, that was within our first year, one of those clashes of ego, right? One of those clashes of identity, who I am and what I want for myself, who he is and how he thinks and what he wants for himself. And we had to have a serious conversation about what our actual desires were in experiences like a Valentine's Day and moving forward. He made it up to me that very next day. We went to eat and we got manicures and pedicures, and that was sweet. I'm like, you could have just already had that planned and organized, and like, what are we doing? But we haven't had that issue since. So within the first year, those are the types of things that shows up. If you are in your first year of your relationship, let me know in the comments. Number 2, year 2. Year 2 is very emotional energy. Year 2 is when you are really connecting with each other on a heart-to-heart basis. This is high priestess energy. This is partnership energy. This is like, okay, we've surrendered the egos. We've surrendered the one. We've surrendered the I, and we are becoming a we in year 2. We're becoming a we. We're in partnership. Okay. The manifestation of year 2 is deeper trust. Deeper trust in one another. It is emotional safety, emotional harmony with one another. The challenge of year 2, I love this. It's the silent emotional needs going unmet. And the reason why that is because in year 2, we're still learning how to really be vulnerable, how to share some of those parts of ourselves that, that we don't all the way have a sense of peace within ourselves. And so we have expectations of our partners for them to be a certain way, for them to show up a certain way and do a certain thing, not realizing that it is our own projections, it is our own fears, it is our own emotional wounds, right, that is creating this response. And so in year 2, you want to really learn to get vulnerable and to look at the emotional needs of each other. Year 2 of Dream and I being together, this is when we had our first child. Yep. First child within that second year. And I vividly remember, us having our son, and Dream, he's still going to the gym, working out, being in shape, being all fine and stuff. And I'm this new first-time mom, haven't been to no gym, haven't done no exercise. And I was starting to feel a little bit like insecure. My My body had changed, obviously. And so, I had to be vulnerable and speak to him, emotionally about what I was feeling. As a first time mom, I'm like, you going to the gym, you getting it in, you trying to stay fine, and then I'm just here. I'm like, no, I need some help. I need you at home for a little bit. I need you to sacrifice some gym time to support me with this newborn baby, right? So I had to express the needs that I was having emotionally, and he had to choose what type of partner he was going to be in support of me in that, right? And so he did. He pulled back on the gym some, and really helped out. And that's where that trust gets built at. If there is no vulnerability, if there is no like emotional safety and security, there can be no trust. And so in year 2, this is when you start sharing more of those secrets, more of those childhood experiences you were afraid to share. You start, you know, being open about the insecurities and the challenges that you faced, right? Because you want to know if the person you are starting to get serious with, you want to know if they're able to hold you in that. Like, how do they respond? Dream and I, before we had KJ, we would just sit on the couch and just talk about life, talk about certain experiences. And at first, we were talking about just what we were observing in life, right? Like just looking at what we were probably seeing in the media, what we just watched or what we just heard, talking about things outside of ourselves. That'd be year 1. Kind of seeing how, if you guys kind of view the world in the same way. Year 2, when it comes down to communication, this is when you start to become a little bit more vulnerable. When you start to speak about how the world is actually impacting you, how your world and your childhood experiences actually built you. And in year 2, you probably still won't reveal it all because just certain things take time. In your relationship, this is when it gets triggered into certain aha moments you don't have until you're in the relationship. Wow. So that's year 2. Year 3, when you are in the 3rd year of your relationship, this is the Empress energy. This is, you've caught a vibe in your connection and now you're building something, right? So the three is basically man, woman, child. So now this is your creation. This is knowledge being the 1, wisdom being the 2, 3 being understanding, mother, father, child. That's what's happening when you get to the 3 year, where you literally start to see what your romance can create. Year 3 is about creative expression, right? It's about communication, right? It's about, just creating that spark in your relationship, that fun and that excitement in your relationship. But the challenge in that time may be immature communication. Year 3. Year 3. Year 3, Dream and I, was that year 3 or 4? In between 3 and 4, Dream and I were becoming pregnant with our 2nd child. And we were so creative in that time in that we chose not to figure out or not to find out the gender of our baby because we were having a 2nd child. We already had a son. When you have that son, and I don't know why this is, that's kind of crazy. I don't know if it's a legacy thing or what the mentality is, but it's like having a son is like something that society feels like you just have to have, right? So once we had our son, our first, we were like, okay, whatever we get next, it just is what it is. So we didn't even, you know, find out what the gender of our second child was going to be. But we were so in love with each other. This was also when our firstborn turned one. When our firstborn turned one. And I'm not saying follow Dream and I steps. Okay, our steps were not the most conventional, but it worked for us. When our firstborn turned one, this is when Dream proposed at the birthday party. Okay, we were at this place. Where are we at? This place called Jamboree. I wonder if y'all have them wherever you are. So Jamboree is like an indoor play place for kids where they're just playing with like foam and things that roll and they climb and they balance. It's really for like one and under, things like that. So we go to this place. It's all cute. We decorated it with animals and things like that. Beautiful. And this is how Dream got me because we did an animal thing. We did like a farm animal theme party. So we got it all decorated, did all the things, and we're deciding to open up the gifts. And Dream comes to me. He says, "Hey, babe, I got to go pick up so and so from here. Something happened to their car." I'm like, "What? You're leaving our baby's birthday party to go pick somebody up? Like, that's kind of crazy, but okay." I didn't even really think about it that deeply because I was too distracted with the party, right? So he's not here, and they're like, "Okay, y'all, I think it's time for us to start opening up the gifts." We opening up some gifts, and next thing you know, somebody comes out. Dream comes out in this goat freaking mascot uniform, right? I wish I would have got the picture to show y'all. He comes out in this goat mascot um, uniform on, holding a bag. And I'm like, I don't know what this is. I didn't order for this party a costume person to come out. But when I'm looking at the goat, because Dream Ass is so tall, so he ain't gonna be able to fit in one of these generic mascot costumes. So I look down at his legs because the outfit is basically flooding him. So I look down at his legs and I'm like, what is he doing? And anyways, he walks over, gets down on one knee, takes off the mask. He's sweating. I'm like, you are so hilarious, right? He takes off the mask and, there's a ring and all the things. And so, yeah, that was so creative of him. And that was really, it was so creative, right? Like after our son's first birthday proposal, a few months later, we were pregnant with our second. So you can see how that went. Okay. So year 3 is about romance. It's about a deeper connection. It's about creativity. But you want to definitely make sure that your communication is on point and that y'all are moving in the same direction about what feels good to you and what you want to create in your life. Number 4, y'all know the 4 in numerology. This is foundation. This is the foundation. This is the home. This is the brick by bricks. This is what you are really building your life and your relationship on. What are your core principles? See, a lot of times people are thinking, yeah, we got to get that out the way in year 1 and year 2. And there are some very detailed things that you get cleared up in those times. But year 1, 2, 3, 4, you're still building because there's so many layers to ourselves that we're peeling off. And we're like discovering like, okay, who am I? Who are we? What is we? What are we building? What are we creating? So year 4 is a time of foundation. When you get to year 4, you like, all right, I'm doing that. I've accepted it. This is my person. And let's lay this foundation nice and sturdy because this is us. Okay. Year 4 is also going into year 4 of Dream and I being together is also when we bought our house. Yep. It's also when we bought our house, year 4. And so that is also one of those symbols of what your relationship should be doing at that time, what you should be manifesting at that time, right? Maybe it is buying a home together, starting a business together, actually starting a family. Year 4 is one of those very foundational years where you look at your relationship and you you make that commitment that you're going to do it, that you're going to stick it out the long way, right? Also within year 4, the challenge though that you want to watch out for is um, the responsibilities of it all. Getting to that point where everything is just about duty, responsibility. I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. And you forget about the flow and the love and the passion that is needed. Man, year 4, Dream and I were grinding. The school that I worked at was 23, 25 minutes without traffic. With traffic, it could easily be 45 minutes to an hour to get there. Head volleyball coach, you know what I mean? Managing a lot of things, a lot of people. So at this time, Dream was doing a lot of taking care of the kids. He was, sometimes he had to drop them off at daycare early because I was having volleyball practice at 6 o'clock in the morning. And on the days where I didn't have practice, I would drop them off. And on the days where I had games, Dream would have to pick them up from daycare. So our communication had to be like, because everything was like on a time. Everything was, got to do this, got to do this, go to do this. But we were laying a foundation for the life that we have now. We were literally laying the foundation in year 4 for the life that we have now, to be able to work for ourselves, to be able to literally raise our kids, to get to love each other and celebrate with each other. Like year 4, that grind, our heads being down and us just staying focused on that common goal that we set in year 3. It was necessary. But you don't want to get so stuck in the routine that you lose the spark and the love and the zeal for life. In year 4 in your relationships, you're going to be, really discovering the principles that your union is going to stand on. Okay, year 5, that's the Hierophant. Year 5 is probably one of the most challenging years because it's the year of change. You've done all of that work from 0 to 4 of discovering who you are, how y'all are going to show up in relationships, what do y'all like romantically, what do you love, and then year 5 comes and you're being asked to change. You're being asked to grow. You're being asked to redefine yourself. Right? Year 5, I want to say that's when Dream and I really got on YouTube more, started creating more, started literally like being like, okay, this is going to be a part of our work as well. We shifted perspectives in year 5 from just like being teachers to aiming for more, striving for more within our relationship and within our lives. Okay. So that's year 5. It's about change. It's about shifts. It's about no longer just keeping each other in the one box that we had them in, right? I remember this when Dream and I first had our first kid. He was like, man, don't change after we had this baby, because when we got pregnant, everything became baby, baby, baby. Like, of course, right? I'm a woman. That's instinct. That's who we are. And so at first, he had to get readjusted to Desiree, the mom. So he had to get readjusted to that. And then year 5 comes, it's like, okay, We got these 2 kids now. We got these careers. We had to change like how we looked at our love and our relationship. Like it couldn't be like it was at the very beginning. Like at the very beginning, like going out on all the dates, just being fun, just getting it in, doing all the things. We had to redefine what we really loved and appreciated about each other. Right? That's year 5. It's like, okay, what else can I find to love and appreciate inside of you? Year 5 is also the Hierophant energy in the major arcana. That's looking at, the Hierophant is religion. It's the institution of things. It's the rules. It's the regulations. It's this is what we're supposed to do. This is what we're supposed to be. Year 5 and redefining your relationship is literally about saying, okay, you know what? Uh, uh, well, we had already kind of made that decision in year 5. But for certain couples, year 5 may be the time where they say something like, okay, we're no longer going to that church anymore. I think year 5 is when we created, what do we call it? Babe, what do we call our show that we did? We did it on Sundays. I don't know how many of y'all have been around that long, but Dream and I used to host speakers, a lot of speakers that are still out on YouTube today. Like Brother Yosef was one of the people that we brought onto that stream. Master Student Conference. No, yes, the Master Student Conference, but what was the thing we used to do on Sundays where we would interview people? What do we call it? Sunday service. Yes, there we go. Sunday service. Dream and I used to do a Sunday service, right? We had redefined what church meant for us, right? We decided, you know what? We are the church. That's when we first started our first ministry. We had them 2 kids that was running around, y'all. We used to try to be quiet. We used to try to keep them quiet so that we can talk. We had on so many different amazing people. We had Priestess Asel, we had Khadijah, we've had Miss Blue, we've had Black Dot, we've had Zoe Williams, we had Mook and Trav. Yeah, that was a time. I'd be talking to Dream about that. I'd be like, babe, we should do that again. I think one of the gifts, I know this is a fact. One of the gifts of Dream and I's relationship is our ability to bring people together. And I don't mean just bring people together like romantically. I mean our ability to bring people together in a multitude of ways. Like, it's something about like us together, we kind of make people feel safe. So anytime somebody came on our show, they left happy, grateful, all the things. It was beautiful, And so when you get into year 5 in your relationship, this is when you're creating the rules. This is when you're like, okay, my mama said this, my daddy said this, the school said this, the church said this. This is how you do love. This is how you do relationships. We are redefining that and creating that for ourselves. What is our code of ethics? Okay. What is our system of operations? Let's figure that out. Year 5 is when you really start to own your relationship and you stop letting outside influences kind of dictate how you do you. I got so many stories about like craziness. Okay. All right. Year 6. Oh, year 6. This is the baby making year. This is the hot and spicy loving year. This is the year of the lovers of the major arcana. This is the year of devotion. This is the year of family, legacy. healing. This is the year where you're like, okay, we are really one. We are really on the same page. We found our stride in our relationship. Like we've gone beyond any fairy tales of love. We are it. We've made it. Okay. And when I say we've made it, that doesn't mean that you don't have more growth in your relationship. Of course you do. But if you make it to year 6, this is where you're like, okay, we have real love. You know, it almost shocks you in a sense. It almost shocks you in a sense in that you're like, wow, where you start to realize how blessed you are to have found that partnership. Okay? So that's the manifestation and the blessing of year 6. You discover your devotion to one another, right? It's all this the level of like respect and honor that you have for one another and your connection and your relationship is really healing, right? Where you look at your partner and you're like, wow, we've you probably have broken some sort of family cycle together once you get to year 6. Your love potentially could have healed some sort of karmic loop by this time. It's very deep, very, very deep. Year 7, this is the chariot. This is the year of movement. This is the year of, okay, we've done a lot of work in our relationship based on those 7 chakras. Think about year 7 as like the crown chakra. This is like you've had a lot of emotional safety, security, jealousy, all of those chakras and the emotions that come with them, from the root chakra to the third eye chakra. By the time you get to year 7, this is when you guys are really, you know, having a merging of the mind, right? Year 7 is also a year of regeneration, right? They say every 7 years you get a new body. Every 7 years, your cells and your cycles and your energy starts all over every 7 years. Have y'all heard of that before? Y'all let me know in the comments if you heard of that before. So in your relationship, when you get to year 7 and we're looking at the crown chakra, this is what is y'all's shared mission? What have you two decided that you are going to do? Who are you going to be in the world? What is the direction of y'all's union? Year 7 is like when you discover your purpose as a unit. It's when those two minds come together. So good. And you know, this is when you start to get a lot of momentum too. You start to feel it. You start to find your stride. That's the manifestation of year 7. Now, the challenge of year 7 is a misalignment in vision and direction. Two competing wills. Like nobody knowing, like, okay, I'm gonna take this seat back, right? I'm gonna take the back seat on this one. I'm gonna be the supporting cast. This is something that Dream and I have had to learn. We've had to learn through our relationship that we have phases where one of us is more at the forefront. And when I say the forefront, I mean they just have more motion, you know, whether it's teaching classes or coaching or a new idea that is coming into manifestation. But, you know, just having to recognize, okay, we don't want to work against each other. We want to work with each other. We want to be on the same shared mental resonance. So in year 7, you learn that. You learn to put your energy and your effort towards a common goal but it's got to be on the same page, right? You got to know when to take a step back. When are you in the leadership role? When are you in the following role? Right? That's year 7. Year 8. Year 8 represents the strength card. Year 8 is a year of power. It's a year of resilience. It's a year of seeing the seeds that you've sown return to you. Um, Year 8 is when you recognize your capacity and your strength. For us, I want to say it was between year 7 and 8. Between years 7 and 8, yeah, we're on 11. We had Kaya 9. Yeah. Between years 7 and 8, we had Kim. And Kim was our first C-section birth. And it was just a totally different experience than what we were used to. And it required us to have a certain level of resilience and faith and trust in each other. Right. And it was a different pregnancy than what we were used to, because we were working with a new midwife, and there was this energy of needing to like prove something. During that time between year 7 going into year 8, yeah, we were moving and shifting in our lives. I had stopped working, right? I was blessed enough to be able to just be a mom and be pregnant and be at home. And that was such a gift. But it was different. It was different. It was scary. It was challenging. I had to surrender. And Dream had to surrender into that frequency of really, carrying the family. You know what I mean? And that led us to having more strength and more resilience. And then when we had the emergency C-section, we literally had to rely on each other. You know, we literally had to hold each other down, in the most uplifting way, I should say. Okay. So it's mutual empowerment. It's recognizing each other's gifts, letting you all as individual use your individual gifts to serve the family. When we had that emergency C-section, the reason why I was able to have a certain level of peace, one of the main reasons why is because I know Dream is crazy as hell, and he does not play about his family and about his love. The people, the things that he cares about and he loves, I know he doesn't play about it, right? So while I was recovering from this emergency C-section that I had to get put to sleep in, I had to trust that he was going to keep our baby safe who was in the NICU. And I also had to be resilient at that time because I needed him as well. I had lost a lot of blood. I had never had a hospital birth. I had never been hospitalized for anything. And I'm in this room by myself, and people keep coming in and pressing on my stomach, and it was a different experience. But in that year was also a healing experience because Dream got to be the father that he needed to be and the father that I needed, him to be, right? But then also it was an opportunity for me to heal one of the father wounds that I had, because at that time I called my dad. I was like, hey, Daddy, I could use your support. We just had an emergency C-section. Dream is with the baby. I'm here in the room by myself. I need help. I just had a C-section. I can't just be doing all of the things. My mom was taking care of our other 2 kids. So it was a year where we really needed our family. We really needed each other. And this was around the same time that COVID was still happening. So I'm in the hospital with a mask on, like holding a baby. It was crazy. So in that 8 year is when you want to trust the strength of your relationship. You want to know and understand that what goes around comes around. So within your union, continue to put out love, put out positivity, and watch that come back to you. But also, this is a year about of surrendering your pride and not trying to like dominate situations or control situations. It's a year of trust in the process. Year 9, this is the year of the hermit in your relationship. So this is completion. This is, okay, we've been through a lot together. We've had a lot of experiences. This is the time where we really reflect on who we are and who we get to become. Like what we get to do now in this as we are ending this 9 year, this 9 cycle of our relationship, right? It's a very monumental time in the 9 year because old wounds reappear, old wounds show up just to make sure that you guys have done the work to overcome it. Okay. This is a time of releasing anything from the past 8 years. And within that 9 year, anything that shows up, this is a time of releasing that. You get to like nip it in the bud. You get to be done with it. You get to, tie it up and throw it away. Mm-hmm. But you are also looking at the things that you've completed within your relationship, right? Did y'all accomplish that goal that y'all set out to? Starting the business, having the family, buying the house, traveling, whatever that is. When you get into that 9 year, as a couple, you're really reflective. You're looking at, what have we done together? Do we want to keep doing it? Is it working for us? This is when you really are looking at the maturation of your relationship. Like, how has it matured? That 9 is like, wow, we are, one year away from being in the double digits. That's impressive. That's work. So the 9 years when you in your relationship, you kind of go into you go inward within your relationship, and you're really connecting with each other, tying up any loose ends, but also preparing for the new things that are about to come. Okay. So I want to stop right there on the year of your relationships. Listen, if y'all are single and you are ready to mingle, or if you are in a relationship and you want to expand that relationship, you want to get better, you want to make sure that you guys can make it to the 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 year, all of those things. Listen, if you don't know, we have the new Love Life event coming again in August. We are actually now doing it on 8/8, that Lionsgate portal. And then the good thing about this is that, you'll get to get around people and network and connect and learn and expand. Dream and I are going to be talking about things that we've experienced in our relationship. Yosef going to be talking about how he has been able to sustain a 20+ year relationship. We have special guests coming. Roderick Martin is going to be like the MC in a sense, really asking the questions that people want to know when it comes down to love and relationships and how to do it when you are on this consciousness journey. Matter in fact, the next live stream that I plan on doing is helping people to recognize when they're actually in that love zone, that love frequency. This is the event. Brother Yosef, Roger Martin, D-Ray, and Dreamwise. We do have some special guests coming as well, so that's going to be exciting. We're going to be in Dallas, Texas. Dream and I got to do a little bit of travel. We got to do a little bit of travel for this one. The early bird tickets, y'all. The early bird tickets are on sale right now. When you get an early bird ticket, you get a gift from Dream and I's table and from Brother Joseph's table. So you get to pick something that you like, you know. But we're excited about it. It's going to be an awesome opportunity to network, to connect, to, potentially see somebody that may be your speed. I don't know, but we are just super excited about it. The next time we go live, I think what we're going to go into is um, how do you know when you're actually in the frequency of manifesting your love and your partnership? Because I get it, relationships is, especially in this day and time with all the propaganda that is out there, I can get how it can be challenging. I can get how it can be exhausting. There are people who are just like, it's exhausting trying to date and relate out here. But I want you to know that you are the creator of your own reality. And so you get to choose to magnetize that perfect partnership that works for you. And this is so interesting because this book was coming up as I was preparing for this live stream. And I didn't even ask Spirit why it was coming up, but let's see if we get to a page today. It's called The Gift of Imperfection. And I remember Spirit kind of started channeling to me that the reason why what we just discussed right now is so important when it comes down to your relationship year, what frequency you are in within your relationship based off of how long you've been together. The reason why that is so important is because sometimes you forfeit the blessing, the lesson, and the alchemy and the healing that's supposed to happen in a relationship when you don't recognize that these imperfections that are showing up are a part of the healing process. Like the disagreements that show up in your relationship are for your development. And it's really not the disagreement that causes the breakup, right? The disconnect. It's the two partners' inability to recognize what it is trying to teach them and their capacity to do the work, to evolve and become better through it. See, too many people don't actually know how to do the work in relationships. You haven't seen it. Dream and I did not see it. But in that year 5, we started to really create and determine how we wanted to do it. And it continues to evolve. It continues to evolve. We are in master number 11 right now. Master number 11 in our relationship. And we actually just had a super spiritual experience that really kind of solidified that frequency. I'm going to talk about that another day. How master numbers show up in our relationship. But the gift of imperfection. I'm just going to read this one sentence and we'll see what it says. It says, so hope is a combination of setting goals, having the tenacity and perseverance to pursue them, and believing in our own abilities. That's all we needed. As you are going through your relationship life, as you are learning who you are, how you love, what it is you need, as you are exploring your connections, whether you are at the 0 phase of potential or you are at year 9 of completion and reflection, you have to stay in a spirit of optimism. You have to be constantly working, evolving, expanding, striving, and staying in the proper mindset when it comes down to your relationships and your ability to have a damn good one, a one that works for you, a one that is healing for you, a one that supports you in living your best life. You get to have that, okay? So that's our build for today, family. Yeah. Let me know in the comments of this video once we get off where you are in your relationship, what year. And then let me know if you are interested in identifying how you know when you are ready, because there's a frequency for that as well. Love doesn't just show up like randomly. There's something happening spiritually, emotionally, mentally, energetically that brings love into your space. And I want to help you to be able to discover that for yourself. All right. Peace and love, family. I will catch y'all in the next one.